Welcome back to the third part of what if I made the World One peace deal. So as you can see, this is the map. I finally separated the mandates from, well, respectively France and Britain in the Middle East. But yeah, so that's what we were left out, with Bulgaria getting smacked in the Third Balkan War. The Turkish War of Independence not going so well. The Russian Civil War going a bit differently, as you can see. Poland still trying to get into a rampage and get everything. Basically, the Polish-Lithuanian land in Eastern Europe and failing a bit more than in our timeline. Lithuania getting Vilnius from Poland because Poland was a bit nicer, I guess. And Germany being ruled by Victoria, Kaiserin Victoria, so monarchist, and also Habsburg Confederation thingy, something, unstable, something. Yeah, so that's what we were left out. So now we're going to focus on Germany. Now you see, while it is a monarchy, there's probably still a parliament. There will still be a call for expansion in Germany, because one, you got a militaristic army, who, yes, was for a monarchy, but like they still wanted to expand, because it's from the old World War I guys who were like, yeah, and also Germany, there were a lot of sentiments where they were like, bro, we didn't lose the war, nobody entered our land, like why did we accept this thing, like we get screwed and all that. So honestly, while on paper it's not as nationalistic as in our timeline, in fact I feel like Germany after World War I was basically this, like, it was written that it was going to be ultra nationalist, or if it didn't become communist after the first revolutions during the interwar period. But yeah. No, that is not stable. Going in Japan, we skipped a lot, so we're basically around 1936, because, yes, I said that because OE4. But yeah, Japan would still do its thing. Now, I know technically this is supposed to be decentralized and all that. But I really don't want to do it. Like, they just, nope. I won't do it. So just pretend it's decentralized and all that. So, of course, I gotta add. Well, yeah, you know what? I did the map anyway. But yeah, so like in our time, so like he was saying, like in our timeline, Japan is going to do Japan thing, which means invading China. Yeah. Good luck. For now, there isn't any distraction, so China might receive a bit more help, a bit more aids, but yeah. Anyway, back in Europe, because that's the center of... I'm joking. I am joking. This is a joke. But yeah, back to Europe. Yep. German's civil war chat. That checks out. Between ultra-nationalist and monarchist. Yeah. Honestly, I think that was pretty obviously going to happen. So who's gonna win the civil war? Well, tell to break it to you, but honestly, with most of the army siding with the ultra-nationalists, yeah, the monarchists are kinda cooked. So because the ultra-nationalists will win the civil war, so I'm just going to skip there. So the monarchy is in East Prussia now, and honestly, so now you might ask, well, why doesn't the West do anything about this? Well, honestly, it's not like Germany is going to be able to do anything, am I right? This alternate Germany will be kind of complicated to see, to like guess who gains power. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna say it's the Austrian painter because yeah, for simplicity, like I said. But know that this most likely wouldn't be him if this had actually happened. But again, simplicity. Now a few years later, because angels can't happen. I mean, Germany is probably going to ask land from Denmark because Denmark did not wanted all of that land. Two, Germany is stronger and Denmark is pretty weak. So Denmark is most likely going to say yes, with the West not doing anything because appeasement. Again, I don't think that would really change. Now next, I feel like what would those guys do is declare war on East Prussia, like, yeah, a few years later after the Civil War, like, let's say, like, yes, this to Denmark, like, I would say, like, probably 10 years seems fair to me. Yes, they would probably, invade East Prussia, like, 2 years after asking this for Denmark to test their military. Now, well, almost forgot about that. But yeah, Spanish Civil War, and honestly, the Spanish will probably receive more aid than in our time when Germany wanted to test, their army and all that. So, and the Republicans might receive less aid because the Soviets are kind of busy right now. So yeah, overall that would be an even faster nationalist victory, although it would still destroy the Spanish economy and all that, so don't expect it to do much more than in our timeline. But yeah, overall, now I won't go into details because again, the outcome will be the same as in our timeline, but yeah, that's a Spanish victory. That is a bit easier than in our timeline, but not that much easier. Also, yeah, down that without the destruction in Europe, that Japan would do anything. The U.S. might do still a economical sanctions to Japan, but not an embargo because they put the embargo on Japan only after they took French Indochina from Vichy France. And, well, obviously there isn't Vichy France because, well, World War didn't start even in Europe yet, so, yeah, Japan might have more fuel for their war against China, which is still going to be extremely hard because China is going to receive more aid than in our timeline, but yeah, at least they can do the war for a bit longer. So, that's going to make his stalemate even longer than in our timeline, yes. So we'll come back to it a bit later. Anyway, Germany is now going to ask the Polish corridor from Poland because, again, they can't ask for the Sudetenland. Now, they do hope that Poland says accept to give them because Germany by that time, I mean, already in our timeline when they asked for the Sudetenland, they were weaker than Czechoslovakia. Now, I'm going to assume that even if they armed a bit later, they still have about the same level of army as when they asked for the Sudetenland in our timeline for sake of simplicity. So, but yeah, that means also the West probably is out of the Great Depression for longer, so it had time to build up a bit. So yeah, that's a few changes to keep in mind for later. Now they're probably going to ask for the Polish corridor. Poland is going to still say no. And well, guess what? Germany made some allies for this. They probably went to Ukraine because they want Galicia, and also even the Soviet Union because, well, they want Belarus. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if you made an argument that the Soviet Union wouldn't join this alternate partition because, well, one of their enemy, and when they claim literally the whole country, Ukraine, would be in the partition in this timeline because in our time it didn't exist. But I would argue that the Soviet Union would still not mind to expand, so, and Poland says no, and Germany attacks Poland. The West is going to be like, Ah, no, bro, they should have said yes, that is not our problem, bro. We didn't see anything. So, yeah, not only Poland is not receiving any aids, which in our time were for valid reasons because they wouldn't have been worth it. Now they're not even getting support like at all from their allies, which makes it even worse. So that kind of sucks. East Prussia would probably be unstable because again monarchy, but yeah. Warsaw would probably fall really quicker than in our timeline, because not only is Poland a bit weaker, but they have more front to cover, so that sucks. Also, Romania might just yoink, take that and just leave. Bro, we didn't see anything. But anyway, yeah, Poland would still lose. So, peace treaty time, I guess. And yeah, here it is. That is exactly what I said would have happened. So, Ukraine takes Galicia, Belarus is taken by Soviet Union, and this is a German puppet. Also, by that point, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact would probably have been made, giving Ukraine on paper at least to the Soviet Union. Although Germany would probably secretly still ally with Ukraine because that might be useful for a future invasion of those guys. But yes, so the Baltic states are in the Soviet sphere of influence. Yeah, same pact overall. Same with the same borders. Now, oh yeah, almost forgot, but yes, they still remilitarized Rhineland before invading Poland. That would make sense. Now, they would probably send something to Austria because that's the next thing, right? You literally ask for the Habsburg to give them Austria in Bohemia, which, I think it's fair, totally not overkill, and it's not like I'm asking them for literally their most important territories, and obviously the Habsburg would say no. And honestly, France and Britain would probably be like to Germany, okay, if you invade those guys, it's war with us. And Germany gonna be like, nah, bro, you're trolling. You're joking. You ain't doing anything. Because you said nothing when I puppeted Poland. You didn't. You wouldn't do anything. You wouldn't do shit. But yeah, also, now that I think about it, they would probably puppet Denmark. Now that I think about it, so just imagining it was always puppeted for this whole time. But yeah, realistically speaking, they would probably puppet Denmark. Anyway, so those would be like, they're trolling and they would invade the Habsburgs. Obviously, they wouldn't invade alone because, well, probably, make allies with Yugoslavia and Romania, who obviously wanted land from those guys. And which that also might, ruin relation between Italy and Germany, because Yugoslavia might want those things like Italian land, Just saying. But yeah, especially like in the southern front, which is not like really defendable with natural things, that is going to be hard. With the Hungarians being pushed to like the river here, so they might be able to defend in the south. Here we got mountains, so that's going to be a bit easier. But yeah, it's mainly with the front with Yugoslavia. Now again, using the Danube River, they might actually end the southern mountains here. But yeah, Croatia, the Kingdom of Croatia is cooked. So yeah. Now, like I said, the West would probably declare war at this point against Germany, and Germany would just phone a war, obviously. I doubt that for a while they probably, those guys probably wouldn't do much. Now, when, the frontier kind of, drags out, probably see Germany to seek, when, Britain, still does try to block iron from Sweden and Norway going in Germany. Well, Germany will probably still do the same thing as they did in our timeline, plan the invasion, because, well, to be fair, it's not like they can really do much here. And most of their forces will probably, be guarding the Rhineland against France to prevent any invasion. So they'll probably still have a few forces left, because most of their forces against Habsburg aren't really doing much anyway. So, damn it, why am I wasted advancing? I never asked for it to advance anyway. Okay, so landing in Norway. The Allies probably still try the same thing, so send soldiers here, but overall it would basically ends up in the same way, because, again, the Germans will probably still have the tactical advantage. So yeah, also yeah, winter war would still happen, so I gotta update that here. And yes, the Baltics are going to be the next. Obviously nothing changes here. But now we got Germany, who probably, instead of first going in the Benelux, push the French out of, the southern Rhineland to protect all the northern Rhineland, and then they would probably, cross through all those little dreams. They would probably also launch an invasion through the Benelux. That would probably still happen, but that would probably be less effective than in our timeline, even with if they actually try the Ardennes thing, because again, there will be actually more land to invade from France here. So, while a Dunkirk thing might still happen, it wouldn't be so bad that it makes France surrender immediately. I mean, it would still be a big blow, but not as important as in our timeline. Like with, thousands and thousands, like with most of the French army being encircled, like it would still be a lot, but not as much in our timeline, like I just said. Oh, and the Netherlands are cooked too, yeah. With this, that's probably going to, be actually kind of World War One, because, I doubt that, this front line is going to change much, and this is probably not going to change much, so this is actually going to look like a lot more World War One than World War Two. I'm just going to end it there, because last video was all like the video for Sunday was also 30 minutes, and I'm not feeling like doing 2 videos of 30 minutes and editing a video 30 minutes in less than a day. So yeah, see you tomorrow, because 1 video a week for 2 weeks straight, because vacations anyway. See you tomorrow. Have a nice whatever time of the day it is for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That was Yen Historian. See you next time.